In this module, I want to walk you through the creation of a marketing automation workflow around delivering your lead magnet. As you get a new subscriber, you want to make sure they're taken care of right away and with predictability. So let's jump in. The goals of this first automation workflow example are to get more email subscribers and deliver what we promise on a landing page so our new subscribers build confidence in our company. This is one of the most basic but essential automation workflows you'll implement in your business. No matter what size or industry your business is part of, if you want to provide valuable content in exchange for an email address, and if lead generation is a focal point for your marketing efforts, then this automation workflow is for you. In this module, I'm going to break down the two sides of this process so you can see what's happening behind the scenes and what your subscribers are going to see. I'll also show you how I built this workflow using Apple's Keynote, a standard presentation software program for the Mac that's pretty similar to Microsoft's PowerPoint. Your automation begins with the submission of an opt-in form on your website. From there, your system will send out your lead magnet. In our case, we use the lead magnet delivery system inside of Leadpages. If you're not using Leadpages, you'll need to upload your file to a web host, Amazon S3, Dropbox, or some other online storage site. Now we come to an automation decision represented by a diamond. The decision to be made is the new subscriber already on my list? If the answer is yes, the system will continue sending the follow-up sequence as before. If the answer is no, then the system will add the new subscriber to the connected list and begin sending your preset follow-up nurture sequence that you've set up in your CRM or ESP. Now let's turn to what your visitor sees. First, they'll visit your landing page or blog post where they'll find the opportunity to opt into your list. They'll be presented with a lead box. At this point, they'll decide if they want to submit their information or not. If they submit the form, they'll then see a thank you page that you've created. Then they'll receive your lead magnet via email and then continue receiving your follow-up messages. If they do not submit the form, they'll be presented with an exit lead box one time. If they then submit the form, they'll go to the thank you page, receive your lead magnet, and continue receiving messages. If they don't fill out the form during this second chance, then they'll drop out of your marketing. These two sides of your automation workflow are simple representations for how you're building your lead magnet delivery. You can combine these together if you wish to create a single workflow. That's totally up to you. In a moment, I'll show you how I built these simple workflow diagrams using Keynote. However, I'd love to give you a surprise gift to help you with your email list building education if these types of processes are new to you. The email list building course is a totally free training we've created as a foundational education for small business owners focusing on list building. You'll get our step-by-step lessons for planning and executing your email marketing campaigns. In the course, I show you exactly how we generate more leads and nurture them into customers here at Leadpages. To get this free bonus course, simply visit leadpages.net/email list building. Now let me show you how I used Keynote to create this workflow. As I mentioned earlier, Keynote is Apple's presentation software, and what I'm about to show you is pretty much the same in both programs. Also, although Keynote and PowerPoint are pretty easy to use, and most likely something you already have access to, we'll show you two additional software tools to build your campaign workflows with in the next two modules. Those are Draw.io and Lucidchart. Inside Keynote, start with a new document and be sure to choose the wide blank template. Next, change the slide template to one with a basic title at the top. I like to then add in the different flowchart shapes I want to use in an area of the page to serve as a kind of workflow palette. For simple workflows, you'll want to use circles, rectangles, and diamonds. Click on the Insert menu and then Shape, and the shape you want. Repeat this for the other two shapes as well. You'll also want to use arrows in your chart, so go to Insert, Line, and Line with Arrowhead. Drag all your shapes to the corner of your page. For each shape, change the fill color to something that means something to you. We typically use green and red for the circles to represent the start and stop of the workflow. The diamonds are typically yellow, and I'll typically use blue or black for the rectangles for the different processes that will happen. Next, select each shape and type the word text 4 times. You'll likely have 2 to 4 words on a particular node of your workflow. Select each shape and adjust the font type and size so the text is completely visible. If you don't see the text formatting panel, click on View, Inspector, and Format. Then choose this Text tab. For the arrows, you'll typically use vertical or horizontal arrangements, so click the arrow go to the Arrange tab in the Format Inspector and change the angle to 0 to make an arrow pointing to the right. For each arrow you add into your workflow, you'll be able to rotate your arrows 90 degrees to go up, 270 degrees to point down, and 180 degrees to point to the left. I recommend creating all 4 directions of your arrows in your workflow palette to make it faster to create your diagram. With your workflow palette ready, you can begin building out your workflow by copying the shape you want, pasting it, and moving it into place. We'll start with a circle and change the text. Then we'll add a copy of the right arrow. Next is a rectangle with the Send Lead Magnet text. Then we'll add another right arrow and a decision diamond and add text. The decision diamond is where our workflow incorporates that if-else logic of a campaign. We'll add another arrow to the right and insert a text box on top of it to represent the if or yes decision. Then I'll add a terminal circle and change its color to red. Next, I'll add a down arrow from the decision diamond and add a no text box on top of it. This serves as the else choice in our campaign. Then I'll add a rectangle for the addition of the lead to a list. Finally, I want to create a curved arrow to the terminal point in this workflow. To do this, I'll add an arrow to the right of the rectangle and align the end point to the center of its edge. Then I'll drag the arrow point to the circle. In order to make my straight arrow curved, I'll need to right-click on the arrow and choose Make Editable. If you're using your Mac's touchpad, then go to Format, Shapes and Line, and Make Editable. Click in the middle of your arrow to curve it. Repeat these same steps to create more complex workflows as you choose. And in the next 2 modules, we'll construct more complex workflows using Draw.io and Lucidchart.